My name is Ivan Vantajato, and I'm going to talk to you guys about how my very first time racing at Sydney Motorsport Park, racing with an RX-8, went during round one of the Formula RX-8 Championship. Now, before we do that, I just want to give you guys a bit of a heads up about today's video. There's a couple of things here that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the transition from simulator to real life, which I think is really, really important, and something that a lot of people don't really understand how much iRacing can really help you in real life. Some people think it's just a game, a simulator, a toy. Oh boy, yeah, you are mistaken, by far. And I also want to give you guys a little bit of background about me in general in motorsport. So I've been racing go-karts for 21 years. From 100cc KT 100Ss all the way to 125 X30s, which are unbelievably powerful, 31 horsepower, 16,000 RPM, and super, super competitive. Now, a bit controversial, but karting is important and it does provide a lot of value to a driver, and we've seen people progress through karting. But in car racing, racing in a vehicle that is, 1.5 tons, 2 tons, or whatever, how much the weight of the car is, with roll cages and strapped in and helmets and 20 minutes of waiting before your race begins, is very, very, very different. And this is where the simulator can really, really help a driver and assist a driver. Now, don't get confused. We're not talking about, just randomly, logging on to a racing session and, just having a bit of fun, being about 2 to 2 seconds, to 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds off the pace. That's not the iRacing and the simulator drivers that I will be talking about today. Today we're talking about the simulator drivers and the drivers that are at the alien pace. 2/10 off, lap record times, and the drivers that have really understood how to push cars on a simulator to the absolute limit. That's the drivers that I'm going to be talking to you about. Now, I've been on iRacing for a little while, and they are the skill sets that allowed me to go into a national championship live on KO, Foxtel, and all that, and give me the posture and already the knowledge of 2.5 years of driving on a simulator in a race car, not a go-kart, to go out there and actually perform the way that I performed. So it's very, very important because there's very different levels of sim racing. If you're 1 second off the pace, you are a million miles away from the aliens. And to give a bit of perspective, this year, so far, in 2024, I am a winner of the Daytona 24-hour race in top split. Second place in GT3 in a Bathurst 12-hour. Second place in GT4 in a Bathurst 12-hour event. And in particular, in the GT3 race, I did 8 out of the 12 hours of driving myself consistently. And they are the things that allow a driver like me now to go to a national racing event and compete at the level that I competed, which stunned everybody. Like, literally, the founder of the category can't wait to put me in a podcast studio to talk about what took place. So it's really, really important, to define the difference between a really solid, good simulator driver that can then transition to real car racing. It's a huge difference in how they will perform. And that's probably one of the key things that I want you guys in the sim racing world that currently don't have the opportunity to race in real life to know that these skills that you're building can really genuinely help you in real life if the sponsors come on and to support your journey and support your careers. So first things first, let's talk about the preparation that takes place to get ready for an event like this. So we have Sydney Motorsport Park, never been. RX-8, never raced them. So all we can do is go on the simulator, find rear-wheel drive race cars, and just practice. Practice your heel and toe. Practice pushing the vehicle. Practice the car, forcing the car to oversteer, forcing the car to understeer. They are very important, critical elements, which when you do start to push in the race car, you're gonna experience the same things. You're going to experience understeer, oversteer. What happens when the back kicks out really, really bad? How do you correct that? They are all critical things. So went on Assetto Corsa, found a mod, connected it, went and did 51.7. Now keep it in mind, because 51.7 is really, really important when we look and analyze everything. So 51.7 on the simulator on Assetto Corsa. And so I fly out Tuesday, we get to Sydney, I meet Justin, I meet Terry, we meet some of the other guys that are there on the night. I think we had about 6 or 7 cars at Sydney Motorsport Park. And so, everybody starts to talk to you about, hey, turn 1, you got to keep the accelerator on, you got to be careful, And, just sitting there going, okay, no problem. I've already seen what it's like on the simulator. And so go out on a couple of sessions and already, I start to feel really good. You just feel it. The lap times weren't too bad. I think I started with a 1 minute 54, went down quickly to 1 minute 52. For 2 sessions, I got stuck on a minute 52, minute 53. But then, and this is something really, really important, because car racing and real life racing versus simulator racing, you don't have a lot of time. And you really need to wrap your head around things really, really quickly, because the weekend will be gone. And you see a lot of drivers get to the end of a race weekend and they perform the best lap times and all that, and then that's it. So we get to the final session of the night. We're getting very, very close to 10 o'clock at night, but just about 15 minutes before the session, I literally just sat down like this, and I started to, I just closed my eyes, and I was just looking at, just visualizing, a much better lap time. Okay, I'm gonna go into turn 1 like this. Okay, when I get here, okay, that's where I'm making the mistake. When I get to turn 8, I gotta, rotate the car and then get out better. The final corner, I'm missing out on a lot of speed. And just thinking, and lucky that when I went out for the final session, there weren't too much traffic around like in the previous sessions. And I'll go out, and from a minute 52.7, boom, 1 minute 50.7. And the excitement and the buzz inside me, knowing that, hey, I finished that night fastest out of everybody. But more important is that I was really starting to wrap my head around getting this car into the corners, feeling the rear, feeling the front, and feeling the 4 tires, and just had a good feeling. And, for the next couple of days, I looked, started thinking again, what it's like. And then, Friday and Saturday, it begins. This is now the official start of the Nationals. And coming out of a good test on a Tuesday night, obviously your expectations start to change, because coming into that weekend, you can ask anybody, I said, outside of the top 10, we should be really, really happy and really, really proud. Never raced here, never raced on these cars, don't know the tire wear, don't know anything, don't know about my competitors. And we're not talking about any type of competitors. We're talking about, Ryan Gordon's, Brad Harris's of the world, people that have won multiple national championships. So this is a stacked field. 8 former national champions, 10 former race winners. So, you do the calculations. You think, okay, well, 8 national champions, 10 former race winners, you're new. Okay, 11, 12, we should be, really happy out of a 24 car field. So we get to Friday morning, go out for morning warm up. Again, the feeling felt very, very good, compared to Tuesday night. Go out there and come back, boom, P3 on the timing sheets. And you're just like, wow, okay, this is exciting. But then you notice that a lot of people didn't have their time transponders on. So then you think, okay, all right. Let's calm down. Let's reassess things after the first proper practice session on the full track with everybody on there. And let's see where we end up. And so we end up P8. So I'm thinking, okay, we're a little bit further up than we thought. I thought 11, 12, but now we're inside the top 10. Amazing. And then we get to qualifying. Now, qualifying, and this is again where experience will kick in, You really need to know how to make the most of lap 3 and lap 4, where the tires are at their best. And due to lack of experience, due to having, a bit of traffic, unfortunately, in one of the laps, and another lap I missed the gear, we didn't end up with a true reflection of the sector times that I did. You know, it could have been a low 48, ended up with a mid 49, but still qualified 8th. So, but you can start to see the tonality, the tone, the attitude starts to change. All of a sudden you're upset about a 49.5 when, you know, there's so many people out there that would kill for a 49.5 in qualifying. So the expectations start to change. Now, why do the expectations start to change? It's because of this. It's because of the simulator. It's because I have done it again and again and again, where on the simulator, we push ourselves to the absolute limit, far beyond real life. That's where a lot of people think simulator is rubbish, simulator is not real, because the simulator has no impact if you hit the wall, if you crash or whatever. But at the pinnacle of sim racing, to win your Daytona 24-hour races, your VRS championships, your European International Championships, all this stuff, you can't make a mistake. So the argument that simulator is rubbish because the simulator has no repercussion, there are repercussions, because if you crash, you don't win. If you mess up one corner in qualifying, you're 20th. That's how competitive it is. That's how tight it is. So the simulator at the pinnacle of sim racing gives you the posture, the balance, the consistency, the timing, the ability to race door to door with other drivers without contact. And again, this is where sim racing is misunderstood, because people think, sim racing, whatever, we touch, we crash, no problem. But there are huge repercussions in international championships and big events if you do crash. So we learn to push the vehicles to 110% and race against each other and have door-to-door racing and be right up each other's asses like this without contacting each other, which is exactly what you will need to do in real life events. So begin the race, you know, race one kicks off, got a bad start because, you know, I don't even know how to launch these things off the line. And I think I'm sitting at around, I think 9th for going into turn 1. But then straight away, you know, the whole pack is there. And because I've done it a billion times on the simulator, you pick the right lines and you start to overtake people. And we actually ended up finishing our first ever national Formula RX8 race in P6, which is unbelievable. I came back into the garage and I was just so happy, so excited, proud to translate these skills that I've been honing in my whole life into real life. You know, so many people doubt, so many people laugh, so many people have assumptions, but people don't know how hard you work. People don't know I spend an hour a day on here. People don't know that I analyze, master books about physics and about race control and about mindset in car. They don't know. They don't know how hard you work. So they see the results there and they think, oh, what? Like, what do you mean this guy's in the top 5? But you don't know how hard I work. You don't know how hard I train. You don't know how at the pinnacle of pushing a race car hard, everything becomes tunnel vision and you become like a robot. It's not about the speed anymore or the thrill or the adrenaline rush. You get, no. Everything is robotic. You know, I can feel it here. It's moving. Okay, it's sliding. Okay, I gotta hit the accelerator here. Everything becomes like a video game. So at the pinnacle of pushing a race car hard is exactly the same as this, with much bigger repercussions if you make a mistake. But the point is, don't make a mistake. And the reason and how you cannot make a mistake is by being on here, beating the best people in the world on the simulator, and then go out there and beat the best people in the world in real life. It's exactly the same. It doesn't change anything. What changes is how serious do you take it? How serious are you? Because we laugh a lot with one of my friends, I have to push. I have to push. And this is a message to sponsors, drivers, team owners out there. If your driver is lazy, is not doing something every day to become a better race car driver, you need to question, what are you doing? Who are you sponsoring? Why are you even bothering to sponsor? Because it is a disrespect to the people that believe in you. It is a disrespect to the people that are putting their money and their businesses on the line to sponsor you if you are not truly trying your every day to be a better driver, to be more mentally prepared, to be better prepared physically, to go out there and push. At the end of the day, what are we doing? If we are not there to try and get super results, or at the end of the day, at least get the best results to the best of our current ability, what are we doing? If you're not going to the gym, if you're not training on a simulator, if you're not doing something to be a better race car driver, then I say that A, wake up, because the time will come where the sponsors will disappear and you will no longer be around. But also, the most important thing in this world is the results, is the lap time, is the stopwatch. And if you're not performing, questions are going to be asked. And there's no point in going out there for six track days and still braking at the same point. There's no point. You might as well pack up and go home. There is no point in going to a racetrack and being puffed out by the end of the race or by the end of the weekend, or, you know, having mental fog because you are not mentally prepared for what's about to arrive. There's no point. There's no point. So if you're going to race nationally, if you're going to race competitively, if you're going to race and be a racing car driver and have a racing car career, then you need to be all in. You need to be 100% in when you're at the track, when you're on the simulator. Not that you need to go quit your job to become a full-time race car driver. No, but when you're there, you need to be 100% in. That is all I do. This is who I am, and this is what I'm about. So you ask, how do we finish top 5 in a Formula RX8 championship that I've never raced before, never went to Sydney Motorsport Park before? Because I was all in. At the fastest corner of the racetrack, where you're going 200 into the corner at 8,000 RPM, I was all in. There was only, I think, one driver that had a faster Sector 1 time than me in the corner that needs the most amount of balls. So I'm all in. Now, race 2 comes around, Saturday morning, wake up fresh from a top 6, and you think, oh wow, you know, like if we can replicate, we go better. We go P5 now. Race 3, we go P5 again. And then in the final race, I'll be honest, I was really, really looking forward to bringing it home in one piece, had excellent amount of points, and it was a fun race. It was a tough race out there. I could have finished 6th. I ended up finishing 7th, but the risk to finish 6th and destroy both cars and, you know, just destroy the weekend's work, I decided to settle for P7. Now, is that 1 point going to come back to hurt me by the time we get to Bathurst at the end of the year? I hope not. But at the end of the day, I chose a calculated risk, or risk versus reward, and I chose safe. Let's see how it goes. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this recap. Never in my wildest dreams did I expect to finish top 5 walking out of round 1. Like I said, top 12, top 11 would have already been a big result, because there's a lot of people that really understand these cars. They push these cars to the limit. But I have learned so much from round 1. And I learned so much from watching my onboards. And that is that at the moment, you know, compared to how I drive on the simulator, we're driving at about 90%, which is really, really exciting. And it's going to be a great challenge. And it's going to be really, really fascinating now to bridge the gap, to get to drive the RX8 the way I drive on here. Because once we get to the point that I can drive the RX8 the way I drive on here, we are going to be challenging for the podium every race. Every race. At the moment, there is quite a bit of caution in the driving. There's quite a bit of hesitation. There is a lack of understanding still of just how far I can push it. But also needs to be a new technique created while driving it. Racing it a little bit like a go-kart at the moment. Very front heavy going into the corners. But the good thing is that I understand. And by understanding, that's how you can improve. And I'll say this, in racing and in life, you really, really need to respect your competitors. You really need to respect how hard they work. You really need to respect how much effort they put in, how hard they push, but never be scared, because everything can be adapted, learned, and if they can do it, you can do it. But you need to be patient. You need to understand that you're not as good as you think you are, and that is a blessing. Understanding that you are not as good as you think you are will be the best lesson in your car racing career ever. Because the beauty about data, analytics, YouTube, videos, your GoPro footage, how your hands are moving, how you're moving your pedals and all that, they are blessings. And if you can adapt and be open-minded that the technique that you used to get a particular lap time is going to be needed to be dramatically changed in order to achieve the next step in your lap time. What do I mean? I ended up finishing the weekend with a 49.1. And the front runners at the moment are giving me, on average, about 0.8 of a second per lap to be on the podium. Consistently on the podium. At least this is a City Motorsport Park. Round 2, let's see. Round 3, round 4 in Adelaide will be a different story. So what does that mean? It means that in the first sector, I've got the same lap time as them, but in sector 2, sector 3, they are much faster. And we need to analyze why. And I already know why. And we're going to work on it, because I know that they understand the tires better. They understand how hard the car can actually truly be pushed in certain sections of the track that give you a lot of the lap time. And so now comes the fun part. Adapting, learning, growing, and understanding that you're not as good as you think you are. Because in life, there is always going to be someone who is better than you and faster than you. But I'm looking forward to it. It's a fantastic championship. The cars are so close to one another. It is absolutely brilliant category. And I can't wait to be one day driving that RX-8 like I drive on here. And it is going to be absolutely spectacular. Let's go!